Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to learn about operators and expressions. So if you haven't already visited or watched installation setup for Golang or variable constants and data type tutorial, you can go ahead and watch that. The link would be in description and you can take a look. So today what we are going to see is like how we are going to do arithmetic operations, increment and decrement operators, comparison operators, logical operators, and bitwise operators, and then assignment operators, and we have operator precedence, and then string operations, and then string comparison, type conversion expressions, and converting back to the truncates, boolean expressions. So we have a lot of things that we need actually in the programming whenever we are making you can say enterprise ready solutions, or we are coding for a company. So let me jump to the Visual Studio and take a look how exactly things are folding up. So I have already written the code which is already present in the GitHub repo. So if you need to take a look, or then you can just visit the GitHub link, and the link would be in the description. So you can just take a click on that link and you will be forwarded to the tutorial or the code base. So there are tons of operators that we use in real-time programming world. So first we are going to take a look at the arithmetic operators. Here on the left side you will see the variable assignments, and at the bottom you will see the output of whatever operation is happening over here. So let's jump in, and the first thing, like I'm printing a statement which is like first type of operators, which is arithmetic operators, and here I am assigning two variables a and b with value 10 and 3. So here on the left side you can see both the variables had been assigned. So this is very helpful when you are debugging the code, or you're learning initial stages of your learning of the Golang or any other programming language for that sort. So first of all, I'm just going to print a and b, which is like a equals to 10 and b equals to 3, which has been assigned over here. And next, the addition is being done using the plus operator. So addition of 10 plus 3 is going to be 13. Similarly, subtraction, if you subtract a minus b, then it is going to be 7. And multiplication, this is going to be 30. Multiplication 10 star 3 is going to be 30, right? Modulus is going to be 1. So what is modulus? Is the remains that happens when you are dividing a number by another number, right? So 3 3s are 9. Eventually you are going to get 1 as the modulus over here. Next one is like increment and decrement, which is important when you are writing performant code. Then you basically don't go for a equals to a plus 1, rather than you just do the shorthand, which is a plus plus. So a's value as of now is 10 and b's value is 3. So let us see what happens if we do a plus plus. So the increment happens over here, and then the value has been changed to 11. So initially it was 10. Here we had assigned 10 and 3, but now it has become 11 and 3, right? So when I'm printing it, a becomes a plus plus, a's value becomes 11. And similarly, if I do a minus minus, the value comes back again to 10, right? If I print it now, then it is going to be 10. So this is the increment and decrement operators that we can use in the real-time programming, or you can say comparative coding. Comparison operator, this is highly used when you are going to do some sort of comparison, and in coding world there is nothing if you don't know the comparison, or everything relies on comparison itself. So I'm using two variables. So here on the left side you are seeing a and b, and now you are going to see x and y as well. So x and y has been assigned over here. X is holding the value 15 and y is holding value 20. So first print statement, I'm going to print comparison operators, and x is equal to 15, which is value has been passed to the printf. What is f over here? It is a formatter. So whenever you are combining print statement with variables, so this is the way you go ahead. We have already discussed in the previous tutorials. If you have any sort of doubt, then we can just discuss again in the following, or I'll go for a dedicated video on that. So now for boolean we are going to use %t, which means like x equals to y. So you can see over here x value is 15, y's value is 20. So this is definitely going to be false, right? So next one is x not equals to y. So this is definitely true, and x is less than y, which is going to be true because x is 15 and y is 20. Next one is less or equals to. So this is going to be true. So this is the way you are going to basically use less or equals to. If 15 and y is also 15, then what happens, like it is going to return true. And if x is 10 and y is 20, then also it is going to return true. So less or equal. The next one is like x is greater than 15, which is false. X is greater or equals to 15. X is greater or equals to y, then which is not true, right? So coming to the logical operators. So logical operators using two variables again, like p and q, the value has been assigned true and false. You can see on the left side. At the bottom, you're looking at the outputs. So here simply printing the variables, the new variables that we have declared and initialized. P and q, if you are doing AND operator, so it is going to be false. Why false? Because true and false become false. So it might go back to your physics era or the initial learning when you were in the college or something like that, right? So or this is always going to be true because in logical operators, true and false becomes true. So not true is going to be false because not of p was equals to true. Here you can see, so not of this is going to be false. Next one is not of q. No, q is false. So if you do not of that, then it is going to be true. Okay, let's jump to the bitwise operators. So again, I'm going to initialize two new variables, m and n. M is going to hold 12 and n is going to hold 10. Right, so this is a print statement, which is m equals to 12, binary is 1100, and n equals to 10, binary is 1010. Right. If you do AND operators, you can just put up a pen and pencil. You can just take a look. If you do AND, then m and n is going to be 8. Binary equivalent is going to be 1000. Right. So you can just do that calculation like 0, 0, 0, and then this 0 and this 1 becomes 0. This 1 and this 0 becomes 0, and then 1 and 1 becomes 1. So the binary equivalent of AND operator, bitwise operator, is going to be 1000, which is equivalent to 8. So similarly, if we go for OR operation, right? If you are using OR operator, it is going to be 1110. So again, how it gets calculated, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 becomes 1 over here, and then 1, 0 becomes 1, and 1, 1 becomes 1, right? So this is not addition of the binary representation of any number, rather this is a operation, bitwise operation, right? If we are going for XOR, so then it becomes 6. So 110 you will get. And if you are going for NOT, then it is going to be negative 13. If you do left shift, this is also a super important logic that we use in the day-to-day programming. So take a note over here. If you are going to do left shift, then it becomes 24, right? Left shift of M, right? So it becomes 24. If you do right shift, this becomes 6. So what is the left shift and right shift? You might be able to understand when you do some sort of like exercise with yourself, right? So the next one is assignment operator, right? So assignment operators, first I'm going to use a variable called num, which value is being assigned as 25. So initial value of num is 25, and if I do plus equals to 5, this is the shorthand of adding 5 to num variable, right? So what happens, this value will be incremented by 5. If we do minus 8, minus equals to 8, the value 8 will be 8 would be decremented from the variable. So now it becomes 22. So if you print over here, this is going to be 22. Now similarly, shorthand for multiply into num and then assign back, right? So this is going to be 44 because the value was 22 times 2 is going to be 44. The next one is division. These are all shorthands, so we must be aware of like This makes code base more cleaner, and it feels like not clumsy or something like that. So this is modulus. If you go for modulus, the modulus would be 0, because this is 14, 7 to the 14, everything would be gone, and then modulus will come as 0. Now you can check over here the operator precedence. In the mathematics, in the, you can say, third, fourth classes, we must have learned it. So there is a new variable that is being assigned. So that is result 1. So 2 plus 3 star 2. So we might be knowing that star or the multiplication takes the precedence over positive or the plus. So what happens over here, if I go to the variable over here, you will see result 1, 3 4s are 12 plus 2. This is going to be 14. So similarly, you can check over here. If you give put it in the brackets, so what happens, this takes precedence over the multiplication, right? So 2, 3, if you add it, it becomes 5, and then times 4, it's going to be 20. Result 3 is like you are doing AND operator on true and false, right? So what happens, like 10 is greater than 5, yes. 3 is less than 8, yes. Then just above, like we learned, like logical operators. So if you go for that, then true and true becomes true. So that's what you are seeing over here. And this one you are seeing true because 10 is greater than 5, yes. And 3 is greater than 8, no. 2 is less than 1, no. So this becomes true, and then true or true is going to be true. So this is the print statement for the operator precedence. String operation, let's take a look at their string operation. This is also very important, not just in the real world programming, but in comparative coding or interview questions as well. So if I'm assigning two variables, first name John and second last name, you can say Joe. So what happens, like you can concat string of strings like this. So first name and last name. So if you concat, this would be concated with a space in between. So full name is going to be John Doe. Here you can see on the left screen, left side of your screen, and then if I print the first name, last name, and full name, this becomes like this. So string comparison. So this is also important. String 1, string 2, apple and banana has been assigned. On the left side, you can see string 1 and string 2 variable has been assigned with the value apple and banana. So if I just take a look, like I'm printing string 1 and string 2, right? And then string 1 equals to string 2, right? So if you do this operation, so you will get like that becomes false, because the value that it holds, right, apple and banana are not equal. Second one is lexicographical order. So this is like apple less than banana, which is true. This is lexicographic order. It means that sorting, if you remember, right? So apple will come before banana, so you can do simple comparison like A and B. So apple will come before B, right? So this is a type conversion. I think we have already discussed in the previous video, tutorial number 2, where we were checking like how we can convert from integer to float or float to integer, and a float 64 or something like that. So that has been already discussed, but briefly I'm going to revise it again over here. So there are two more variables, int value 42 and float value 3.14. If you do the comparison over here, not the comparison, if you just convert integer value to float value and then add float value to this, then your result going to be 42 plus 3, which is like 45 plus dot 45.14. Right, converting back to integer, when you are converting it back to, so all the decimal values would be gone. So here you can see float value, yes, so truncated is going to be 3 truncated, right? So what happens, like decimal 14 is gone. So basically what you are doing is like you are converting decimal value or float value back to integer. So all the numbers that you see after decimal, including decimal, would be truncated. Let's take a look at the Boolean expressions. So this is the complex Boolean expression that we are going to take a look into, which is very helpful when you are going to do like if else condition in the real world programming. So what happens, like if you go for like tons of if, that becomes a wrong you can say programming way of writing the code. So what happens, like you should be very much aware of like what exactly how exactly you can write the expressions concisely. So there is age and has license, which is a boolean variable, has insurance, which is a boolean variable again. So there is can drive. So what is the can drive condition? Condition is like if age is greater than 18 and has license, then you can drive. So what happens, like can drive, which this becomes true. But can he rent the car? So it should be like can drive, yes, and should have insurance, which becomes false, right? So this is what you can see on the left side. Can drive is true, but can rent car, which has been evaluated as false, right? So these are the simple print statements over here. So age is 25, has license true, and has insurance false. He can drive, yes, he can drive, but can rent a car? No, he cannot. So these are like complex Boolean expressions you can write. So it's more of like you can club this together if you don't need this particular variable or can drive statement, right? So you can simply club this over here and carry on with the code base. That would be much cleaner way to write it. But it is also recommended that you should not go for much more complex way of writing code, because while debugging or somebody else is taking a look at your code base, that should be very much understandable. So this is the end of the third video. So what we learned over here is all about like how we can use the operators and expressions, right? Let me just take a look at what we are going to do next. So next is going to be control flow and control flow conditions. So here you can see like if else conditions, right? And what we are learning in the previous one is going to be helpful in the upcoming videos. So again, I'll be like suggesting you to go back to the previous tutorials and take a look on the installation and the setup. If you need more information on setup, you can just let me know. Then I'll go step by step and let you know like how exactly you can do the setup as mine. And next thing is like the upcoming videos are going to be more interesting, because this is going to be it's more of like complicated, or learnings are going to be more over there. These are the basic stuffs that we have covered so far, and I would just wish you all the best with your learning. So that's all for this one. See you in the next one.